Hello everyone, Silver Contrail here. We're back with another Yu-Gi-Oh's Bad and You Should Feel Bad podcast. This is episode number 4. I'm joined by Tom
Hi.
and Zach.
Hello.
And this is actually the second time we're recording this because last time I hit the preview button on OBS and not the record button. And so we recorded about a half an hour's worth. And none of that saved, so
Way
that
to
was
go,
fun.
Kelly.
That was
We're
fun.
so proud of you.
Today, we're going to be talking about the OCG Metagame breakdown for 2015, YCS Atlanta, actually, then the adjusted list for the format, and then YCS Atlanta.
Yay. So,
Woo!
so the Road to the King, which is an OCG blog site, released a really neat infographic that summarizes, I guess, their metagame in 2015. And out of 2,000 and some odd decks, Perform Agent Pale was over 500, which is effectively a quarter of the decks played in 2015. So to make that number even worse, it wasn't released until July. So it was pretty dominant when it was out. And then the most popular archetype cards, surprisingly not at all, was Perform Age cards.
Yeah.
And less.
The other four decks that dominated the OCG were Necros, then Heroes, then Atlanteans, then Clyfort.
Yeah, and they weren't even close.
Not
Necros
even, no.
was a distant second at 303. So if you were in the OCG, chances are you were playing Pepe for half the year.
What a difference one card makes. Like, heroes have Stratos, and so they top more than Atlanteans and Clyforts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that cool?
But
Makes me
it's,
sad that we don't have
but-
Stratos.
but guys,
Not at all.
Stratos isn't broken. Stratos doesn't need to be banned.
Yeah.
It doesn't, man. What are you talking about?
Dude, I don't want to play against Dark Law Turbo with Stratos.
Can you imagine that? Like,
I really don't want to
I
think
am
about that,
imagining it,
actually.
and I'm imagining like packing up my cards and just like standing up from a hero matchup and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell or something.
Literally just buckets of salt surrounding you.
Just grab the buckets of salt off the floor and then walk away.
all right. Staple cards. 99.7% of decks played Harpy's Feather Duster.
At point 3, though, they're the true rebels.
It's probably Harpy players.
Dude, Harpies can search that. That's so cool. I love that.
Wait, what? What card?
What's it called? The one that searches.
Oh, it's Eric's side. Oh,
Yes!
no.
They can search Harpy's Feather Duster. Dude, I kind of wish we had Harpy's Feather Duster.
Yeah, that or Heavy
Lie.
Storm, something. Not Giant Trunade, though, because that would ruin everything.
Giant Tornado would be broken.
There's Odd-Eyes Advent Dragon. You can play that. He's a Trunade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's way harder to get out than playing a spell card.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I totally forgot this card to search out Feather Duster. That's amazing.
And almost all decks were playing 3 copies of Max C and Effect Failure.
In the main deck, not even side deck, they're maining that.
Yeah.
Ghost Ogre was used most in the side deck, about 2 copies per deck. Again, no surprise, these are like the best hand traps we have at the moment, so it makes sense being played in high
They've been
numbers.
the best hand traps for a long time.
Yes.
That brings up kind of an interesting point about hand traps. Do you think maybe they're mechanically, like, they're just really that good? I mean, like...
They're high reward, low risk.
Mhm.
All of them are.
It also makes you going second less like it's intimidating or scary because you still have the potential of having options when your opponent's playing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, hand traps are better than real traps in every way, shape, and form. Because there's no commitment.
True.
Especially in a format that has Harpy Feather Duster.
Yep. Yep.
Most popular extra deck cards from the 1st of January till 31st of March was Castel at 74.3%. No surprise, Castel is amazing. Between April and June, Tomalaeus was the most used extra deck card, obviously because, hey, look, it's either a Pleiades or an Infinity, you know? And then between July and September, Evil's from Exoton Knight was used the most. We won't know about that because that card is sadly banned. Rip the Dream.
I think
And
this one
then,
surprises me.
yeah, I'm actually really surprised about this too. To finish off the year, about 2/3 of the decks were playing Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't some like
Rafflesia or I, what else? Yeah,
yeah, like what is Abyss Dweller? I mean, Abyss Dweller is good against
Atlanteans.
Burning Abyss and Atlanteans.
Hmm.
But Atlanteans died off that time. That's October. Atlanteans aren't even seen play. So it's
And
literally
must just be
just
Burning
Burning
Abyss.
Abyss.
Yeah.
Like people are playing it just for Burning Abyss, maybe. I
I
mean,
guess, but Burning Abyss wasn't really that big of a threat with full power perform mages.
I mean, they have like uber power Burning Abyss over there.
True, it's ridiculous. 3 Torghast, 3 Graph, 3 Skarm, 3 Seer. No, like usually they're not running like any other Burning Abyss monsters, if I'm not mistaken. If they are, it's like very small numbers because they don't care.
That is true. In our first recording, Kelly brought up a neat point, if he wants to bring it up again, about naming conventions.
Yeah, the point I had brought up earlier was that when you look at the graph, you see right away that the Perform H Perform Pals have this huge spike in play as soon as they're released, and you see kind of an equal decline in play in Magician Pendulum, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's so many hybrid builds that get kind of rolled into the same name. So you have Magician, Perform Pal, Perform Age decks that are kind of running them equally, and they just get called Perform Age, Perform Pals. And so the actual people who are running like Magicians who aren't running any Perform Pal cards or aren't running any Perform Age cards is pretty narrow as it is. So it's not really it doesn't really represent how many people are playing necessarily Odd Eyes Magicians.
Yes.
That is agreeable. Agreeable.
Yeah, well, the same point we see here, like, what's the difference between magicians with, like, magicians playing, like, the Perform Ages or, like, Pepe with magicians teched in? Like, really, what's the difference?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
3 cards. Whether you're playing, I don't even know, Luster or not was what it was earlier. That was, like, the difference. If even that.
Or Dark Pendulum, the difference is like
Yeah.
a couple of cards.
But they're
But
named
bro,
differently.
Armageddon Knight.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder. I think like we'd benefit a lot from if we simplified our naming conventions. But how do you do that when you play Pepe, which plays like 3 different archetypes?
And it doesn't
Well, I
even
mean,
help
what
that Konami's official coverage is sometimes inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everything was Magician Pendulum, and now everything's Perform Ages, and I don't know.
And they're
It's
not even
confusing.
that different. I don't know. And we can
Naming
talk about
is
trends
weird.
on this graph. So
Um,
something I
Next.
noticed earlier was in June there is no ban list release, but there is a drop off of Necros, like a significant drop off from May to June.
so that's about the time the Master Pendulum structure deck was released and
Yeah,
Magicians started taking hold before Perform Pals became the thing to put with them.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't see a drop off in the other decks nearly as much as Necros just have a huge drop.
Yeah, they go below Heroes and Atlantean, I think,
And Magician, so
and Magician.
they drop to
It's
fourth.
it's really bizarre. Like, did they were still really playable at that point? I don't understand why.
Maybe
just
people
don't
were just
understand.
sick of playing them at that point, wanted to switch to a new deck. Voila,
I
Magicians
guess,
were born. I don't
but that
know.
has to stop the TCG from abusing decks for years.
They come back. They come back a little bit in August. They do make a resurgence before they get destroyed in September. Rest in peace, Necros and Atlantean at that point.
And anything that's not Perform Pal Perform Ages.
Burning
Oh,
Abyss. That's still around.
Yeah, there's certain wait, here you talking about here or in the OCG?
OCG. Both.
They're way cooler in the OCG though. Just saying.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting that Monarch has a huge number of players when it's released, and then it just drops off. It's like
And
all the
before
hype around it, and then it was like, yeah, bricking.
brick jokes, they're just everywhere. That's all you gotta do, just make a
We
brick
just
joke.
brick. You've got more bricks than my
Built up.
house.
Yeah, the brick house.
All right, so that can move us on. Segue into our next topic. Our emergency ban list, if that's what we want to call it, adjusted list, starting February 8th today. Date in the podcast, so Kelly has to upload it in a timely fashion.
It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be like a week down the road. You find like, hey guys, I uploaded that. It's like, oh, cool.
So
Good
yeah,
job.
this
We're relevant. Keeping up with the news.
this destroys one deck, just Pepe. This absolutely destroys it. They didn't hit anything else. They're like, oh, let's ban 3 cards from that deck and limit another 3.
Yeah, so they forbid Plush Fire, Damage Juggler, and then Tellarknight Ptolemaeus, and they put Crobat Joker, Monkey Board, and Luster Pendulum to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the deck's still playable. Good job, Konami.
Well,
Good
I mean,
job.
is it really right to just like murder a deck? Like I remember back in like I don't know, like 2010, 2011, Konami was like coming out with ban lists and they would just destroy decks. You could be like, "Oh, this deck is playable," and then they just hit everything in it. And they'd be like, "Oh, now I can't even play this deck anymore."
Well, they're clearly not afraid to do that anymore with the November list because they effectively killed like 4 decks on that list.
They didn't I don't think they killed the decks. I think they just got power creeped, honestly. Like if
They
that list didn't
banned
come
sure
out.
they banned Construct. That's not killing the deck.
Yeah, but if that list didn't come out, I think those decks would have just been power creeped down anyways.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying they're not afraid to kill decks.
Yeah. Yeah, but not to the impact we used to see, I feel. Like they used to obliterate decks.
Yeah, they would hit like 3 or 4 cards like every time. That's fair.
Yeah, like this is the biggest like hit on one deck we've seen in a list in a long time.
It's very very targeted. It's just meant to bring the deck down to a level that other decks can compete with it because otherwise, don't want to say tier 0 because other decks could technically speaking beat this deck at full force, but very very strong tier 1 deck. And now it's just, an even tier 1
Not that
deck.
it needs it.
Yeah, this list was the issue with people having with it. Not necessarily the hits, but how quickly they hit the deck. Because this deck has been at full power for about 19 days before this list was announced.
Yeah, I think Monkey Board we talked about earlier was the fastest limited card that wasn't limited upon release. Like
Yeah,
it went from 3 to 1 in 19 days.
They just did not care. They were just like, "Hey, we know this deck's," and people are like saying like, "Oh, they didn't do it for the players; they did it for other reasons." Like, I don't know. This list was definitely just meant to bring the game to a more reasonable level. I feel.
So I want to quote. You guys probably saw me share this, but Alex Fansett from Voltage Games said something in your mini status that was really good, and I really liked. So he said, "I don't understand why everyone is so upset about the emergency ban list. This is a good thing. Would you rather drop this and have it go into effect March 1st? Oh wait, that is the exact same thing, except there would be 3 more weeks of a terrible format for both the game and the secondary market." So his argument is that it doesn't matter if you ban it now or later. The difference is irrelevant. It's going to happen. Everyone knew that it was going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And the positive outcome of this is that we have now more weeks of a more balanced format, where we don't have one deck just dominating.
Which is true, and a good thing, in my opinion. The more decks that we can play, the more healthier our format is.
Yeah.
I just wish Konami would stop making stupid cards.
Yeah, like what are they thinking? I think the biggest issue stems from the fact that it's two companies making cards. There's Konami of America and then whatever they call it, Konami in Japan.
The
Well,
thing is, though, the cards that Konami America makes usually aren't this ridiculously over the top.
I mean, have you read some of the Cosmo cards?
I'm not saying they're not really good. I'm just saying like they're not. Oh, hey, look, I search cards for free, or hey, look, I make you scales for free.
Yeah, but I feel like they have two different agendas because they have two different metagames. Like
True.
like the OCG is much faster because they have things like Harpy Feather Duster and Full Force Burning Abyss. So when these cards were released in the OCG, I mean, they weren't as dominant as they are here. They were still dominant, like 80%, but not the 90% we see here.
can we talk about broken TCG exclusives real quick? Let's remember that X
Yes.
Sabers would have been nothing had it not been for Emmer's Blade, Dark Soul, and Bogard Knight, all TCG world premieres.
Wait, were they really?
Yeah, all three of them were.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And Infinity Barrier was also exclusive. Lone Fire Blossom was a world premiere, uh, which really didn't become relevant until like 2 years later.
After the fact.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's. I think that's why we see like really broken stuff in both games is because there's two different agendas going on here. Like, the OCG is trying to balance stuff for them, and the TCG is trying to balance stuff for us. But we have completely different ban lists and completely different metagames. So when stuff comes from one shore to the other, it throws the balance off.
although the OCG does straight up just make a lot of broken stuff too.
That's true.
They do.
Like all of the hits on this list, none of those were world premieres. It was just OCG.
It's all
stuff.
OCG, yeah.
That's all on
Those
you
all
guys.
cards are going to be hit anyway. So like this was inevitable. It really was inevitable.
Yep.
I
And
even said,
can't play Brilliant Fusion anymore.
"Oh yeah, you can't play Brilliant Fusion."
Dude, that was the best card of that set. And I knew it too. I picked them up when they were like 25 cents.
Dude, Zach, you're probably pretty happy. No more Brilliant Fusion discussions.
I am a little happy. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, wait a second. What attribute is that magician that's tuning magician?
Dark.
Aw.
That's why you play Armageddon,
Uh,
right?
Someone was actually talking about it on Lithium's video in the comments. I briefly read it. It's talking about Brilliant Fusion with the new Dragon support and Dragonities in it. And I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Dude, you just drop lights for free. It's like Foolish Burial for lights.
Oh yeah, you can send the new Whitestone, whatever it's called, for the Blue Eye support. And then you have two normal summons, and you can like normal summon two Duxes and do
So
things.
tuning magician's art, it was clearly intended to be a light, but then they realized how broken it was with Brilliant Fusion, so they made it a dark. I mean, you can't even argue with that. It's wearing all white. It's got a light background. There's feathers in the air. It's like
Maybe it's gonna be a Wing Beast.
it was
You
clearly
make a pretty good
intended to
point,
be a
though.
light. And then they're like, "Oh wait, let's make
Oh,
this."
I'm not gonna lie. I would legit play Brilliant Fusion if this thing was a light.
Oh man, you'd have to.
Oh, it'd be so good. Let me just dump my Magician Glow Bulb here real quick. Oh, wait, I made an Omega. Hey, look, free glow bulbs.
Yeah. So now the best things to send with Brilliant Fusion are like artifacts, which aren't even that good.
Should we talk about Atlanta now?
We can.
Oh no, this deck doesn't need to get hit. Come on, guys, why'd you hit our deck so soon? Meanwhile, Atlanta, 30, the top 32, 29 of those decks for Perform Powerful Form Mages. Good job, guys. Good job.
You guys ever feel like you have deja vu?
Because we just talked about this.
Yeah. So whoops. So yeah, it was a lot of that, a lot of Perform Pals, a lot of the counter trap builds. Fraser got third. He was playing the counter trap build.
See, that surprises
Power
me.
Trap build's the coolest one.
I mean, it's the coolest, but I feel like the aggressive build beats the counter trap build. It's just the counter trap's better against Cosmo and Monarchs. Definitely Monarchs.
Is that build playable now? I don't think it is with Luster at one.
No, the aggressive build definitely is not playable.
No, I was talking about the
No,
kind of
Oh,
crap one. Because like, what do you even pair with? What's her face? I
you
mean,
still have
you gotta hit her with
Wavering Eyes.
sorcerer.
Wavering as a sorcerer.
I
And
think
now
honestly,
sorcerer can hit pendulum zones.
I
Right?
feel like
Wait,
that's the direction they'll go.
it can,
Because
it can hit pendulum zone cards now, right? It
yeah,
wasn't able to
Yeah.
before. Okay.
yes, that's the direction they're gonna go. Is the trap version, I
Mm-hmm.
think. Just
Which means
because.
Ultimate Providence is going to see a spike, I'm guessing.
Well, they're slowed down to the speed of Cosmo and Burning Abyss and Monarchs, so they have to start playing like those decks. They can't be playing one trap anymore. They have to be playing 6.
What about mermaids? I'm sorry, Atlanteans.
Atlanteans. That's kind
The
of
deck with the fish people, alright?
the deck with the fish.
Under
people.
the sea.
Dude, that didn't
Under
do
the
anything
sea.
at Atlanta. I just noticed. I
Yeah,
forgot
there's
that was
no
Yeah.
Atlanteans at all.
We had one Cosmo. The one Cosmo that top 32 snuck into top 4 as well.
Let's see, the total breakdown was 29 Pepe, 2 Monarch, and then 1 Cosmo, so...
And we were talking about the Cosmo earlier. He wasn't playing artifacts, which a lot of people were playing going into this event.
I think it was just meant to just purely just slow down Performer Pals.
Well, yeah,
and-
like I agree with my build is very similar to his. We have a few slight differences. Mostly, he plays Eclipser, and I think Eclipser is terrible.
Because it probably is.
Maybe he didn't draw very often.
I mean, hey,
Maybe he always shuffled it back in with the field spell.
I mean, I don't know which situation you would want to draw Eclipser in, except for like in a mirror match, maybe against Monarchs, maybe.
Against Burning Abyss, maybe?
Maybe I don't know. Well, Burning Abyss, like
But their traps, like, yeah, I don't...
they have a hard time getting over an established. They can kill Cosmo if a Cosmo can't get established, but if Cosmo get established before that, they've got a really hard time getting over them.
Like, basically, as far as I know, one of your main outs is F-Zero.
Well, yeah, like anything, it's gonna stop. Like is gonna target and Burning Abyss. So I don't understand that decision, but he was also playing 2 Farm Girl and 2 Good Witch, which the 2 Farm Girls simply because it's hard to attack nowadays directly and do damage with 1500 attack. Like so many times I wish Farm Girl was just a little bit stronger. Like if she was 1600, she'd be so much better because she can run over like damage juggler.
Well, they're trying to keep the deck, quote unquote, here balanced, and then they made Dark Destroyer.
And they made Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer is, I mean, it's definitely their strongest card, but is he really that broken?
It's not broken. It's just he's a wall that's a lot of decks have a hard time getting around. He's really beefy. He's untargetable. It's a hard time getting around him. Like one of the biggest
Remember
problems
when
with
Leo was such a big thing?
oh yeah.
And then they like made a themed Leo that also pops a card and you can special summon it, and then if you kill it, it gets another card that can't be targeted.
Yo,
Like
Leo's not a thing.
it's just like basically like a gigantic, annoying Leo. Someone is
Yeah,
calling
but-
in phone.
Everybody except for Burning Abyss has an out to it right now.
Yeah, except you have to go like Neg and Odd Eyes Magicians to do it.
Oh, and Mermail. Mermail can't get through it.
Yeah, they can. They can get the Equip Spell on Megalo.
Okay. Then they get Twin Twistered. Or they get Slip Ridered.
But then it's negated. So the Equip Spell is still gone, but it's negated.
Yeah.
That Twin Twister's going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's okay, because then the deck still loses.
Yeah. And 3 Tin Can, because Tin Can is the best psychic now.
Tin Can Turbo seems to be the way the deck's going. Triple Call of the Haunted, Tin Can.
Yeah, Call the Haunted is amazing in this deck with Tin Can. It's like, oh, you have Iron Wall, let me pop it with my Slip Rider that's in the grave. It makes the deck really hard to side against, because the cards people were siding against are irrelevant.
What are the best side deck cards now? Just Cyber Dragons?
Maybe no, I don't know. With 3 solemn warnings, or not warnings, but scolding. It makes like playing around Cyber Dragons so much easier.
Well, you can't kill core. If they normal summon core.
You can kill core.
If they normal summon core, there's nothing to activate.
That's true. Well, that's
Unless
like,
they activate its effect to search. I mean, if it's in the graveyard and they activate its effect, then you just negate it, but...
well, yeah, you just kill the one somehow. You Dark Destroyer the one. You call the Haunted to Dark Destroyer the one.
What if...
Callahan is stupid Cosmo. Come on.
Play for...
Oh, here, I have basically with a bunch of summonable hand traps that just, disrupt all your plays. Hey, look, I can summon them from the grave now, too. Isn't that adorable?
Yeah, I think the best cards to play against them are the Cyber Dragons, and Iron Wall is still good. It's just not as good as it was.
Because it's going to get popped. You know it's going to get popped.
It doesn't shut them down like it did.
They're going to stop it.
Majesty's Fiend.
Ooh, there's an
That's
option.
a pretty good card.
Yeah.
Except Dark Hole and Regeki
And...
are pretty prevalent.
I don't know what else.
Skill Drain.
Oh, yeah, Skill Drain. The one on Skill Drain. Yeah, I think... I want to say he was going to play the Good Witch for, like, the 2 Good Witches to counter, like, Vanity's Fiend. But, I mean, that's, like, a Game 1 thing. They're not going to keep those in for Game 2.
Good Witch is really good in the mirror match because it forces their Dark Destroyer and it forces Rafflesia against Perform Mage, both of which are problems when you're playing the deck. It's just a card that forces them to activate their effects. I understand why he plays it. I don't know if I would play 2, but I understand why. I was playing 2 before Tin Can. But it forces them to activate their Dark Destroyer and target it, and it forces Rafflesia to use its effect. So
That's a good point.
that's why I think he's playing 2. I don't know. I haven't talked to him, but that's what I would assume is the reason.
Makes sense.
So at the time of recording, we don't have the first place deck list yet. We're waiting on that.
I can guess what it is.
Yeah, probably the same as every other build. Top.
Oh.
That's not the trap build or the dark build. Armageddon Knight and everything. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'd ship
Yeah.
it.
We have Fraser Smith's build. We can talk about that.
He
We
played-
kind of did.
He played the counter traps.
He played the counter traps.
There you go.
He didn't play Rafflesia though.
What?
I guess he did. Never mind. He
Oh.
has one.
See, I've
time
linked
space
to none of
trap
this,
hole.
so I have no idea where you guys are getting this information
He has one
from.
time space trap hole that was hiding because ARG's banner on their thing.
Yeah, they were posted on ARG.
That one.
We should have known
that
that.
41 card deck. I hate 41 card decks. 'Cause I
What do
was
you got against
playing
41
two
card
games.
card? Yeah. What do you got against
You
41
can
card
find
decks, man?
something to cut. That's my opinion.
Nah, man.
Cut that warning.
Well, then he can't. He's only playing... Or how many counter traps was he playing?
2.
Wait.
Well, 4, but 2 different names.
Well, then if he drew one, he wouldn't be able to activate his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's what he's got to play for. And
Oh,
probably
rid of the
that
the
silly
twister.
thing about, like, if you play 41 cards, it fixes ratios for you.
Twin Twister. Get rid of that.
Twin Twister is clearly a bad card.
You can play one of those. You can side the other 2.
Dude, he's got a lot of back row hate. I'm just realizing this. Main 2 Twin Twister, sides a third, then sides 2 MST. He's not playing around.
Well, no, he doesn't want to lose the mirror match.
That's why he didn't lose that Cosmo player.
That is probably why all those Call of the Haunteds were getting popped on site.
Apparently, all he played up until the top 4 was Perform Pals.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like the worst event ever. Just mirror matches all day.
Dude, I don't know why people are still blind MST. Like when I play people, they still blind MST my back row or blind Twin Twister, which isn't as bad.
Blind Twin Twistering is not nearly as bad because you have a better shot of hitting the card that you need to.
Yeah, I mean, if you set two back rows and you blind Twin Twister, okay, but like,
I can tell you as a bad player though, you get a rush when you blind MST and you pop something that's like really clutch, and you're like, oh.
and then they just have another solemn scolding set.
Hey, now let's not talk about that.
I mean, at that point, you're probably gonna lose anyways. So
Yeah, they open monkey board, wavering eyes, and two solemn scoldings, and then the other card doesn't even matter at that point.
Totally didn't need to hit the deck though. Definitely not necessary at all.
Gosh.
I am really curious to see like the topping ratio, what it'll be after. Well, now that's in effect what it'll be for regionals and whatnot, because the deck's still playable, but Cosmo is just on that same level now, so it'll be interesting to see that ratio.
Well, we can talk about that. What's going to happen now that this list is out? Like, what are we going to see for the next 3 weeks until March, assuming we get another ban list?
ties
then?
into the question that Zach asked on the group.
That's why I brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Oh.
good call. I think Cosmos are the best deck going forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're really hard to side against, and they don't brick as much as they used to. Like Monarchs brick a lot. I feel like
Yeah.
Pepe is going to be more likely to brick now, and Atlanteans brick a lot. So honestly, Cosmo are the least bricky deck right now, in my opinion, except maybe Burning Abyss.
Burning Abyss has a lot of floating power too, so that's what helps keep them keep up
They
with
don't
other
ever
decks.
brick. I've never seen a Burning Abyss player brick in my life.
I had a
Even
Burning
with-
Abyss player brick against me, claim
but
that he
they-
bricked against me with all
they
monster
still draw-
hands,
they
and
still
then he
draw
just
six-
OTK'd me that turn.
Yeah, it's like what? Or they like don't draw any monsters, so they draw 6 great traps and stall until they get monsters. It's like, oh no, I bricked. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually really hyping up Burning Abyss after this emergency list came out. It's interesting. I'll curious to see like how much it'll actually like come into play, because Cosmo's gonna be like more than likely the best deck, and Burning Abyss have a fairly difficult matchup against them because you can't
Out of-
target anything.
Out of the remaining decks, I think Burning Abyss might have the best matchup, or it might be Cosmo's worst matchup. It's a very dynamic matchup where both players can win if they're the better player.
Hmm.
But I think Burning Abyss going forward is Cosmo's worst matchup. Just because it's really hard for Cosmo to side for Burning Abyss. And if Burning Abyss players draw decent, they can stop Cosmo from getting established pretty easily.
Is that opposed to Monarchs?
Well, Monarchs are easy to side against
That's true.
for Cosmo. And I don't fear Monarchs as much as
Because they
Burning
brick.
Because they brick, yeah. Yeah, like Monarchs don't really have a defense either. Your Farm Girl searches are a lot easier against Monarchs than they are against Burning Abyss. Like you're almost never going to resolve a Farm Girl search against Burning Abyss, and you're almost never going to OTK against Burning Abyss. They can just drag out the game so much better than Monarchs can.
True dat.
True
Very
that.
true.
True that. I don't think Atlanteans are going to do much. People are going to play them, but I think it's too little too late for that deck.
Well, we've been recording for 35 minutes here. You guys want to call it?
Do you want? Did we talk about Solemn Strike this podcast?
Don't.
No.
This card?
we-
So we could talk about that real quick.
So Solemn Strike was played in the vast majority of the top 32 decks at YCS Atlanta.
It is hands down the best card out there right now.
And it will be hit to 1 some point in the near future, probably.
Oh yeah, next ban list it's going to be hit to 1. It's getting the same treatment as Warning and then Judgment before that. They were played in 3s when they came out. They went to 1. Almost the very next ban list. Except for Judgment wasn't played when it came out.
So, at that point, do we ban Warning and keep Strike around?
I don't know, that's a good question. Strike is better than Warning. 100% of the time almost, unless they're playing normal monsters. Strike is better. I don't know.
Bro, Ignites, come on. They're
Yeah,
scary,
Ignites.
right?
Yeah, like I don't know. They might do that. Maybe they'll ban Strike or limit. Yeah, ban Strike instead of limit it and just keep Warning at 1.
Do you guys think when they make these cards, they think about this ahead of time? Like, okay, we're gonna print this card, and then 3 to 6 months down the line, we're gonna semi-limit it, then we're gonna limited it, and then we're gonna hit this other card. Yeah, is that stuff all planned out?
I bet
a
they
year
have
in
these
advance?
sets. 80% of the sets planned out 6 months to a year in advance.
Yeah, they definitely had like some adjusted list planned out before Breakers of Shadow even dropped here. So
Yeah, they had the adjusted list planned out, but I don't think 6 months ago they had it planned out. I think this was relatively recently planned, but definitely before Breakers of Shadow came out. They had it planned. Probably when they saw what it did in the OCG, they're like, oh, maybe we should do this. And it's pretty clear they chose this date for after Atlanta.
Mhm.
yeah,
100%. They could have done this right as the deck came out, but they were like, nope, we'll give them one event with this.
I'm
imagine
pissed that I
if they
went to that
did this
regional
right
now.
before Atlanta.
Well, that would be really cruel. That would have been really cruel.
I would understand, yeah, if people were upset about that.
So yeah, I guess that's it. Unless there's,
What
No.
about Wing Raiders?
we can talk about
The
that
Wing
next time.
Raiders.
We can talk about that after release, because we don't have the whole list yet.
Yeah,
But my Scrap Dragon.
we'll talk about that later.
My Scrap Dragon.
Don't hype it so you can get it for cheap, cheap, cheap.
Cheap, cheap.
That's how the Yu-Gi-Oh market works, right? You don't tell people about the prices of cards, and then you rip them off.
Exactly. Oh, dude, Alucard reprint.
Ooh.
And 101. That's like about all we know.
Cowboy. XYZ Rebellion.
'Cause that's gonna not have enough reprints yet.
Kiwi.
Let's give it another.
Okay, let's stop talking about this before we start talking about it.
All right, so this has been the 4th episode of You Goes Bad and You Can Feel Bad podcast. You can find us all on YouTube, or you can find me on YouTube. I don't know what
You can
got.
add us on our Facebook group, Yu-Gi-Oh's Bad.
Oh
You Should
yeah,
Feel
yeah.
Bad,
We got a Facebook group.
which is really dead, but it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
126
At one-
members.
Oh yeah, they're all like from that Vanguard group too, or from my
Maybe
friends
someday
list.
we'll tell you guys a story about that if you don't know it.
Oh true, yeah. That'd be
Dude, we
good
can have a
story to tell.
special edition where we invite the founding members of Yu-Gi-Oh's Bad. You Should Feel Bad. That would be fun.
All right. So until next time, then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.